So this is the Zohar Matuk V'Devash, Parshat Noach. First thing we're doing is we're learning how to read this, how to translate it, give some idea. So we just a little short shiurim. First we read the Zohar, and we try to understand what the Zohar says. Look at some of the words that they use here. And once again, Parshat Noach. So this is like a little typical setup that the Zohar does a lot. It says, Rebbe Yehuda kom leil yachad lemilei b'oraisa, that Rebbe Yehuda got up one night to learn Torah. What time did he get up? He got at Palgal's Lelia, at midnight. Palga means half. Bebe ushbiza b'masa mechasya. So he was in an inn, let's say a motel, at a place called Masa Mechasya. V'habataman bebesa chad yodoi. There was a certain Jew that was also staying there. The answer of Tishrei kisiri the kafira. They had two bundles. That's what I think it is, of wax. Now, what the meaning of this, I don't know. Pasuk Rebbe Yehuda is Rebbe Yehuda quote a pasuk in Parshat Brachos. V'ha'evan hazos asher samti matzeva yihya beis Elokim. So this stone that I'm making here as a matzeva is a monument, like a gravestone. But that kind of idea doesn't mean a gravestone. Yihya beis Elokim. This will be the place of Elokim, of Hashem. We're starting into a story which actually has a lot more to it. But in the interest of time and trying to learn what's going on here, we do a little bit, try to keep moving. He Evan Shtiah, that this, what we're talking about, this stone that he's talking about, this Metzeva, is what we call the Evan Shtiah, which is the foundation stone of the universe. Now, to me, in my mind, I don't know that Mathematic was going to say this, this is actually a physical representation of the Malchus de Malchus. It's the source of what we call gravity. It's right there in the place of the Holy Temple. So he says, Shtiah, the mitaman ishtil alma, that all the world flows out of this one place. It's planted. And on top of this stone, this one stone, it was built over the Beis Mikdash. Zakov Reishe Haku Yudoi V'Amalei. So then this Jew that was along at the same time, I guess, he was a wax salesman, was coming over here telling to Rebbe Yehuda. He says to him, Hi Mila Eich Efsher, how is it possible that what you're saying over here, the quote again is the Evan Hazos, that Yaakov is talking about this, about the Evan that he put his head underneath. It was underneath his head, that's the way to say it. So he said, the High Tama, V'ha Evan Shtiah ad lo la izberi al mahavas. So we say, but the rule is that this is actually the foundation stone of the universe. Everything that moves in the universe is all based on the principle of this stone. This stone is the source. Like I said, it's the Malchus of Malchus, or the Malchus of the Malchus of the Malchus of the Malchus. It is the ultimate draw. Remember that Malchus definition by the Sulam is the Ratzon L'Kabel, the desire to receive. That is gravity itself. Gravity pulls everything towards itself. V'ata Hamarta, and that center of that gravity, he's saying, is the Evan Shtiah. This is ancient tradition. V'ata Marta, but you said, V'ha Evan Azosa Shecha Samti Matzeva, that this stone that I placed as a marker, as a monument, the mashma, the Yaakov Shavi la Hashta, it's mashma that Yaakov himself is the one that now is placing it there. It's not something that existed before the world was created. It's not the source of the Ratzon, the Kabul, the desire to receive. Dersiv, V'yikach as the Evan, so he took, because this is the pasuk, he took the stone, so the stone was there, that he placed underneath his head. V'su the Yaakov bebeis El haba, but Yaakov was not at the place of the Beis of Mikdash. He was in a place called Beis El. V'hai avda haba b'Yerushalayim, and the stone itself, the Evan Shtiah, is in Yerushalayim. So this is a question. It's a kasha that this wax salesman, the wax carrier, whatever it was. Let's see what the Matok B'Devash says. This is his question, and it's a big question. I could answer it off the top of my head without reading the rest, but I'm just making things up. What is the answer? So let's take a look at the Matok B'Devash and see if we can understand it better. Let's see if everything is okay over here. 1 second. Wow, I'm screwing everything up. Okay, so let's look. This is the Matok B'Devash. So he said, Rebbe Yehuda Chakam Leila Chad, the Mili Ba'araisa B'Palgus Lelia, B'Pei Ushpiza B'Masi Mechasya. So Rebbe Yehuda Chakam Leila Echad, just translating it, he got up one night, B'Chatzas Leila at midnight, Asok B'Torah B'Achsanya B'Masa Mechasya. In this place called Masa Mechasya, that's where he found the inn, the motel, the hotel he was staying. Because the minhag of the tzaddikim, of the era of the, what we call the Tanoim, they study Torah at midnight, after midnight. Ki ein rinasa shal Torah, so the real celebration of the Torah, ela b'layla, only really takes place after midnight. He is bodidus halayla, because the meditation and the isolation at nighttime, nobody would ever know if you were studying Torah. If you go to a base of medrash, the house of study, and you'll see people learning during the daytime, but whoever sees anybody learning at midnight? It's very, 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 very private. So he said, "Ki his bodidus halayla tasir la'amid as seichel ha'adam al borio," so that because if a person learns Torah at nighttime, it has a way to be able to perfect the seichel. What he means, it settles the mind. It makes it the way that it's supposed to be. So then he says like this, skipping down to the light print, V'hoyasham bebeis Yehudi echad. So in that house, that hotel inn, Yehudoi echad sheba bebeis mesos. He had two bundles, shall shava limchor, of wax to sell. Pasuk Rebbe Yehuda, V'amar Rebbe Yehuda began to speak, and he said like this to this man, So he said, what does this say? Let me translate. This stone that I put under it as a marker, or as a monument, Beis Elokim, this stone, this is a quote from Yaakov Avinu, will become the place of the Beis Elokim. So he said, Dahi Even Shtiah, this is known as the Even Shtiah, the Mitaman Ishtil Alma, that the world grows out of this. I said that the idea is gravity. At least that's an attribute of it. It pulls everything towards itself, everything grows around it. Zuhi Even Shtiah Shemisham Hoshasa Ha'olam, that the world, Hoshasas, pours out from that place. And on top of that stone, the holy temple is built. Because that is the middle of the world. That is, in other words, the center point. If you learn the Rav, if you learn the Ariya Kodesh, you bring this in the very first shar. They explained how everything is made out of one empty dot. That one empty dot is the place where there is no light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, and as a result of that, everything falls into it that is going to be created. So then he says like this, Zakef Rosho Osa Yehudi Ba'oda B'mitaso. So this woke up this Jew. Now it gives you a little picture of what it was like. Apparently they were sleeping in an open area. I really don't know how that works. Maybe I was in Afghanistan once, so I know what an ancient bed looks like. The look of this is that they're just lying there to get some rest, but it's not private. So Rebbe Yehuda said this, and this man woke himself up. He says, Zakef Rosho, he lifted his head, Oso HaYehudi, that other Jew, the wax salesman, I guess, Ba'oda b'mitasa, while he was still lying down. V'shal l'reya, so he asked the Rebbe Yehuda, Eich efshar lehiyos davar zeh, how is it possible this could be? Answer me this question, he says. V'harei even Shtiah, because we know if this is the foundation stone of the universe, if this is the center of all physicality runs out of this, Kavar Choisa Ad Shalom Nivra Olam. We have our tradition is that this existed before there was any physicality. In other words, it's the beginning of physicality. But it's right at the point of its beginning. So the world really developed out of this. All of it, I don't know what hoshasas means. It means like drank from it, grew from it. Va'ata Omer, but you said, wait a minute. You said, Koi al ha'evan shti. So he said, wait a minute, you said, ha'evan azos ashasamti matzeva. So that quote, this stone that Yaakov put underneath his head in this place called Beis El, you said that that's what happened. Koi ha'evan shtiya, and is talking about this same stone, the foundation stone of the universe. The mashma, the Yaakov shavel lahashta, it's mashma that Yaakov Avinu, he's the one that put it there. So he's the one that made it into a monument. But if you said that it was existed before the world existed, how could that be? V'yikach as Evan, let's go back over here. Let me get the Matak Midabash, my mistake. Yaakov Sam also ata the Hiyosham Matseva, that he put it now there, that it's going to become a stone. It's going to become that monument. So he did it. It wasn't existing before the world was created. So it's Arashata Lokha. It's only now, in this story of Yaakov, at the place of Beis El, with the stone under his head, that it's now becoming the monument. Vod she Yaakov koya oz bebeis El, and so he says, let me point out to you that Yaakov was not in Yerushalayim, kamasha kosav sham. V'yikra Hashem amakom b'hu Beis El, he said at Beis El. Beis El means the house of God, which really could easily be translated. I'm not reading the rest of the Zohar, so I'm going to leave that for anybody else wants to read the Zohar and see what the answer to this question is. And so later on, Kosev Anohi ha'el Beis Kale, I am the God that appeared in Beis El, Asher Mashachta B'Sham Matseva, that you anointed over in this place this monument stone. Evan Zu Chosed Beis Hamikdash, but this stone was not in Beis El. It was in the Beis Hamikdash, and the Beis Hamikdash is in Yerushalayim. So this is a question that the Zohar is starting with, and of course there's a lot more to be said about it. But here we're coming to try to read, translate, learn how to say it again. For those of you who have the Matak Medevash, or have access to it, if you don't have access to it, if you have the money, you should buy it. Now it costs like $550 for a set. But your synagogue may in fact have it. And if you have a house of study, they should have it if they don't. This is Baruch Fleischman. I'm going to a wedding, God willing, in next week. My granddaughter is going to be married, so I'm going to be busy, and I'll probably be back to you next week. All the best.